ladies, I'm going to go ahead and build on the previous tutorial of chest hooping and take it to shoulder hooping. Again, another fun on-body movement that lends itself to a lot of variations once you get it comfortable, but it's going to be different for everybody, so I'm going to break it down into a few different methods that I have combined to make work for me. So again, first things first, you want to make sure that your shoulders are warm, because for this one we're going to do a lot of feeding through with our shoulders. So with chest hooping, we're isolating through the chest. Shoulder hooping, obviously, we're going to isolate through the shoulders. So we're going to let our shoulders hunch forward and back while keeping our rib cage over our hips. So this is going to be our base and our stabilization factor going through this. So we're going to get comfortable moving one forward shoulder, one shoulder forward, and one shoulder back, and vice versa. Notice I'm not opening through my chest. I'm not doing this and rocking and pivoting on my spine. My spine is actually staying right in place while one shoulder comes forward and one shoulder comes back, and vice versa. All right? And again, the other part of it is going to be what our feet and legs are doing. So you can either, pardon my kitty, pivot on the one foot and get your momentum going this way. I'm a left hooper, so I'm going to pivot to the left. If you're a right hooper, just reverse that. Pivot to the right, okay? Or you can do the diamond step or the triangle step where, again, going to the left first, I take a big step back with my left foot and an equally spaced step with my right. So forward and back, forward and back. This will make more sense once we get the hoops on us, okay? But this kind of general motion, right? And reverse that for my right hoopers. Right foot back, left foot forward. And I like to think of it as a diamond or the point on a compass, because you're keeping your steps fairly equal, but they're not landing in the same place every time, and they are going to adapt once you put your hoop on. So again, I'm going to go to my gentle giant. Again, so this is my standard practice hoop, my HDPE. This is my gentle giant that I start all my chest, shoulder, hips, and thighs hooping with. It's lightweight, pliable, but gaffered. So it's nothing but grippy tape. There's no sparkles on it, because it's explicitly a practice conditioning hoop. So again, assuming that we're not able to move it up the body, let's go ahead and start with it on our shoulders. So I'm going to do a Polish wrap underneath, get it nice and level, and just give it a little toss. All right? So one of the first things you'll notice is that I'm turning. This takes a lot of pressure off the little muscles in my chest and shoulders, particularly in my shoulders, because although they're big and strong, shoulders are a very special joint and we don't want to damage them. So we got to be gentle to the actual joint socket of it. So a couple things that work really well. I am feeding forward with my right arm and feeding back with my left, or simply pressing out with each arm as the hoop rotates around my shoulders. I prefer the diamond step, so let me show this again for you. So using that diamond step, notice I'm kind of pausing between each step for this one, because this hoop goes very slowly compared to what I'm used to. And I'm feeding out and in, and out and in, and out and in. Really over-dramatize the movement initially, and then you can get to the point where it's barely noticeable. Now you notice I'm doing kind of this fun wavy arm thing. That's twofold. It's pretty, because I'm a dancer and I love to make everything pretty, but it's also hiding what I'm doing to my shoulders. So instead of having to constantly make these big penguin arm circles, I'm able to hide that by kind of bending at the elbow and letting my hands float. Now, as you get more comfortable with this, or if you know chest hooping already, you can actually use a little bit of that chest hooping to help keep it going on your shoulders, because I'm pressing through my sternum as well as my back to even out the push within the inside of the hoop. When we're hooping on body, a big part of what we're trying to do is create circular pressure inside the hoop on a part of our body that may not be perfectly circular. Well, for most of us, it's not going to be perfectly circular. It's a little easier on the waist because it's mostly oblongish, right? Shoulders are very square, very uneven, and for women especially, chest and shoulders are going to be one of the biggest variables in body type. So keep that in mind and be patient with yourself. Now, if you want to get it up there, we're going to use that speed hooping method. So starting on my waist at my moderate speed, I'm going to push through my legs to speed the hoop up, get my boobs in, tuck my arms in, and go for that shoulder hooping. And notice how quickly it slows down once I'm there. Now, obviously not everyone's going to be able to tuck both arms in right away, so we're going to go for one arm at a time. So using that one-armed method, we're basically kind of chest hooping and shoulder hooping a little at the same time for a rotation or two, and then you get that other shoulder in. Now, that is going to be one of the trickier parts because it's going to be timing between you and your hoop. So depending on the diameter and thickness of your hoop and the shape of your body, that's going to be a different moment for everybody. But ideally, when the arc of the hoop, so if I'm gripping on this side or if this is the part that's touching my body, I consider that the arc of the hoop. It's the part that's open and away. So you want to move in and out through that arc. And then when you get comfortable with that, you can actually intentionally play with pulling those arms in and out to even it up. Okay, so that's for all my lefties. So for a righty, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to the right. And bear with me, mine's a little rough still. Working on it. Okay. And this is a fun trick, wave to your audience, but it's also a really great way to condition both chest and shoulder hooping simultaneously because you're working a little bit of both muscles. And the biggest part you notice is my feet keep moving. They're not perfectly in sync with the hoop because they don't need to move as fast as the hoop is moving. But then I'm able to use that body weight to help even out the push and pull on the inside of the hoop. So that is shoulder hooping with a little bit of extra chest hooping and some arm duck outs in there for you. I hope this is helpful. Again, check me out on Facebook as well, www.facebook.com/Belisama Hoops. That's BELISAMI Hoops, HOOPS. Have a great day, my lovely hoopers.